address the issue of the restructuring of government and the impact that it will or will not have on the taxpayers of the city of Plainfield. I continue to receive calls and they continue to be blog comments that are being put out there by purveyors of misinformation. And I must also make reference to a petition that was built on a lie to mislead and to misinform the people of the city. And I can't help but say that those who were behind that, they owe the people of Plainfield an apology for the misinformation. And all of those signers of that petition are owed an apology. And I would hope that information that I will provide this evening will be disseminated to those signers of that petition, so they will have the facts. And so, council, I will present you with an analysis of the costs of the restructuring of the government that is being proposed to you this evening by way of an ordinance. There is a copy of this analysis that is available for every person in here and for anyone else who needs a copy, and that can be gotten from the city clerk. We have a number of individuals that are currently on the payroll of the city. Those individuals are Carlos Sanchez, Orrin Dabney, Valerie Jackson, Carl Riley, Ron West, Fire Chief Frank Tidwell, Shep Brown, Jazz Clayton Hunt. Those individuals in the calendar year 2018, their salaries come to a total of $1,004,399. That's the salary that they would earn by the end of December 2018. For the new budget year 2019, with a 2% increase for those employees, with the exception of the fire director. And the reason for that is because of longevity that goes into the calculation of his salary. But all of those employees, plus the salary of the fire chief, come January 1, 2019, their salaries will total $1,024,455. That's the total of the salaries that these individuals will make, regardless of whether or not there is a restructuring of government. That bottom line total includes the percentage increase that each one of these individuals will likely receive. So that's 2019 without the restructuring. When we come to 2019 with the proposed restructuring, the bottom line total is $1,031,993, a difference of $7,538. That would be the increase after the restructuring, and that would take into account that the fire chief, as he indicated in different media, that he will be forced under the mandatory retirement laws of the state for members of the fire division. He will work through August based on that mandatory retirement date. And of the $151,000 that he would have earned had he stayed for the full 12 months, he would earn $100,924. And so, as a result of the restructuring that I am proposing, and with the fire chief leaving at the end of August, that's a savings of $50,462. Now, for those of you who have this analysis, you will see some highlighted numbers in the column that is labeled 2019 salaries after restructuring. And as I indicated when I presented this information last month, because some writers and purveyors of misinformation tend to selectively parse out some of the information and are leaving out the facts. Well, I outlined last month to this governing body that the restructuring that is being proposed would be budget neutral. Budget neutral. And indicated that the savings that we will realize as a result of moving away from a fire chief to a fire director will offset what it will cost us if we were to hire a fire director from outside, as well as the bumps in salary that two individuals who will be promoted to department head positions would receive. I pretty much made the case that it would be budget neutral. And so, if you look at the yellow highlights, you will see that the person that is being proposed to head the department that will be created, the Department of Health and Social Services, will move from 108,835 to 120,835 to bring that director more in line with other directors. And then when you go to the person that will be heading up the Department of Communications and Technology as the head of that department, that person will receive a bump of $6,000 to move her from 117.3 to 123.3, also to bring her in line with the other department directors. Now, if we choose to hire a fire director after the fire chief retires, and I'm saying after the fire chief retires, because we have no plans to replace the person that is the current fire chief. No plans. But if after the fire chief leaves, and we choose at that time to hire a fire director from outside for 4 months that would remain post the fire chief's retirement, at a salary of $120,000 per year, that would result in a cost of $40,000 for those 4 months of 2019. And so that's how we would get to that bottom line of $1,031,000 for a net change of $7,500 increase. And as far as I'm concerned, I will make the argument that that's budget neutral. But let's go further than that. If we decide, which is the more likely scenario, we have 5 senior members of the fire division that salaries range from 145 to 135. And the likely scenario is that I will promote from within. So if we go to the last column on this spreadsheet, we have the $50,000 savings from the retirement of the fire chief. We have an increase of $12,000 to the director that will head health and social services. We have $6,000 that will go to the director that will head communications and technology. We have 0 for an outside fire director, because in this scenario, we wouldn't have an outside fire director. And promoting one of the senior members of the fire division to director with an increase of $10,000 a year to that person, prorated over the remaining 4 months of 2019, that person will see an increase in salary of $3,300. you will see from the last column, there is a net savings of $29,000 to the city's budget in the likely scenario. So when I say this is budget neutral, that's what I'm talking about. I will take you even further. Under that same scenario, with a senior officer promoted from within, and you look at the column that says 2019 salaries after restructuring, you will see written in green the amount that the current fire chief will earn from January of 19 through August of 19. $100,000, let's run it to $101,000. It's $100,934. That amount will be another savings by hiring from within. So that $29,000 is really more like $130,000 savings. So that's the likely scenario. But what if we didn't do the most likely scenario and we brought a fire director from outside? The $40,000 that that fire director from outside would receive for the 4 months of 2019, one might say, well, you're going to pay him $120 in 2020. Well, we would make up that difference by the $101,000 that we wouldn't be paying to a fire chief. 80 of that will go to the director, so the 80 and the 40 that he was making before would be the 120. The difference of $20,000 from the savings of that amount that we will no longer be paying the fire chief would pay health benefits. That's the least likely scenario. I am very inclined to promoting from within. And so the total savings, that $29,000, when you add the fact that we wouldn't be paying that $101,000 anymore, we're looking at $130,000 of savings. Now, to all those who continue to try to mislead and misinform people, and especially the lie that the petition was built on, that claims there will be millions of dollars in costs added to the budget and to taxpayers, nothing can be further from the truth. This notion that we will go out and hire confidential aides, we can today, whether we have a restructuring or not, hire confidential aides/secretaries. Call them whatever you want to call them, aides or secretaries. It doesn't matter to me. We can go out today and we can hire those individuals, whether there was a charter change or not. And the point that I made a month ago is that there was miscommunication with the division, and as soon as we hired a director of personnel, and the director of personnel contacted the Civil Service and Commission, she was able to get the Civil Service Commission to confirm that the city of Plainfield has the ability and the authority to hire confidential aides/secretaries, or for want of a better word, a confidential employee for every department head. That exists today, whether or not the charter was changed. That exists today, whether or not the council chooses to embrace the proposed changes to restructure government here in the city. We can today, and we have not, hire a confidential employee for every department head. And so the false notion is shameful that such a lie would be, put out there. And one would build a petition and get people to sign a petition on that false narrative. I think we owe the truth to the people of Plainfield. I have always been candid. I've always been open. People disagree with me at times. And I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with people who will deliberately lie to the people of Plainfield and make them believe that this administration is about to raise their taxes by millions of dollars based on this restructuring. It's a false narrative, and those who have been the purveyors of that ought to apologize to those who they misled into signing a petition based on that false narrative. Council members, you will get from me the truth. You will get from me, as a financial professional, as a certified public accountant who knows numbers, you will get from me everything that I know as far as the city's budget is concerned and the impact that this proposed restructuring will have on taxpayers of the city. Is it budget neutral? Absolutely. It's better than budget neutral. Council, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?